What's up guys, Fury TV here, and we're back with another episode of Poker Hands. Before getting into it, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy our videos, as your support is allowing us to continue posting videos on a daily basis.
And now Stevie again with the worst hand in the big blind. Jake with an ace on the button.
Stevie defending.
Yeah, will defend with his queen.
And a good flop for Jake.
Yeah, wow.
Flops top pair with a gut shot. Backdoor nut flush draw. Stevie's got backdoor queen nine flush draw.
Of course, Jake will bet with that hand. Stevie though with this queen high, it doesn't. Well, he does decide to take one off.
12 backdoor straight draw. Queen high could be good.
Well, look at this.
No.
Jake makes the wheel.
Jake's turned a wheel.
Of course, if it were to come another 3, Stevie would make a higher straight.
But there's very few outs, only 3 outs. He's definitely had the run of the cards. Will Stevie get frustrated here? Turn his hand into, well...
Yeah, choose his hand as a bluff, right? He's just got a 6. It's always hard to try and rep a 3 though, anytime you're playing on a raised pot. Of course, if we see if he does it here, it'll be disastrous. Jake has a 3. And well,
he doesn't have any good options. Eventually he might have to do something.
yeah, he is getting relatively shorter as time goes by as well. This looks like disaster. As you said, he's going to make the bluff. And he's going big by the looks of things. 1.8 was the bet. Makes it 5.1. And that was it. I mean, goes without saying, doesn't it? Jake here, just cool. And with straight, allow your opponent to continue bluffing. But he probably can't believe his luck.
His eyelids.
Yeah, that tells you.
He's in love.
He's in love with the situation. I promise you that much. Well, Stevie is making a big stand here, but timing way out of sync. The first time we've seen him check raise a turn as a bluff, and he's doing it into the wheel of Jake Schindler, and Jake will, of course...
Schindler's made the call. He's letting Stevie hang himself.
And, I mean, if you look at this pot size now, Stevie, if he wishes to continue this bluff, will be all in for 9.5 million into the 13 million on the river. And, well, 7 of spades.
Well, it is a scare card. If he was check raising on the turn with a...
Right, it's kind of the card he has to keep bluffing
draw
with, right? Because a lot of his bluff candidates are flush draws. So you feel this is kind of curtains for Stevie.
Well, it might be a tough call for Jake.
Well, that is also true, of course. Most of the bluffs are flush draws, so if he does shove, how would you call the 3? Let's see, or will Stevie give it up?
I mean, he could always... Jake could be thinking if he shoves as well, it could just be a chop.
Well, he does move all in. And, well...
Jake has a decision to make. If he calls, it will be all over.
It's the old
Scotty
call,
win.
it's over, baby. Jake with a straight. I mean, you can't expect Stevie to be just going crazy here with this. Oh, he's going to call, I think. He throws the call in.
Wow.
He throws the call in. Stevie
Great
turns
call.
over the complete nothing hand. Jake has a straight.
And that's your lot.
That is the end of it, as quickly as that. It didn't like this pot could ever develop into anything Mitch, but And then Charles on the button, ace-9 suited. He's going to raise it up.
It's a 7.5.
We go then. Ube 3-betting once more. This time 7.5 million from the small blind to Charles's button open. Well, Ube making it very difficult for everyone. Charles could certainly flat here. Suited ace on the button against Ube. There's 50 big blinds. And that's exactly what he's going to do. 17 million in the pot. And wow, what a flop for Charles. That is exactly what he was hoping for. 3, 4, 5, all spades. Question now, how much is Ube going to bluff off? Charles cannot believe his luck. There is the face of a man who's just flopped the nuts, doing everything he can not to look involved. Giving off some clues there. Perhaps. Very jittery. Will he bet here? Checks back. This is a good play against the hand he's up against. Well, Ube doesn't appear to want to put a chip in this pot. Maybe hopeful his ace-10 is good. Charles is flat. With some sort of suited Broadway combo. Doesn't expect to fold an overpair, perhaps. And I guess doesn't expect Charles to have too many offsuit combinations, so doesn't have to worry about him having a lone spade and catching.
8.5. 8.5.
So Charles will now bet his hand. 8.5, half pot. And then Ube got himself another spot here. Imagine that this one will just be a fold. Can't win every pot. Wow, Ube coming out with the turn check raise, 27 million. And Charles with not a lot more than that back.
27 million.
Well, car crash here for Ube. Charles is going to come out of this pot as the table chip leader. Only has a little less than 20 million more. See those yellow chips, 1 million apiece. The white 500Ks. Oh, Ube has played crazy at this table. This one a step too far. Charles will burn a time chip, as he should in this spot. Ube maybe thinking this one's about to work. Hoping Charles is going to fold maybe an overpair. But here's the word all in, and Ube knows the game is up. Only another 17 million chips, but how can he possibly call with ace-10 in this spot? What a situation he's got himself in here. A little too aggressive.
27. How much more?
And well, what is actually the biggest pot we've had at this table is Ube check raise bluffing the turn.
42-1 total. 42? 42. Take the 27 out.
Well, Ube wants to see exactly how much it is. He wants to get it in with his ace-10 high, but
Isn't that all mixed up now?
even if Charles were bluffing here with the ace of
That's
spades,
mine,
it's
right?
hard to see how ace-10 could be good.
The 500 there would.
Ube.
Huh?
No.
21, 5 more.
21?
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
Is it 15?
15 more.
Slight confusion over how much more it is to Ube, but I just can't see how he can ever continue with this ace-10.
15?
15, one more.
Crap.
Ube, though, after this hand, will still have 49 million chips. Still a good start to the day. Shown a lot of heart. Gives it up.
Thank you.
Charles then with, wow, a massive gift. Called the 3-bet, flopped the nuts. Check back the flop, bet half on the turn. Daniel makes the call from the small with his king-queen. Queen 4-5, Australian flopping top pair. Louis, of course, 3 to a straight, 3 to a flush. You can definitely bet here.
Out of 220,000.
Ian against an under the gun raise. No play here, but a call. Oh, king of clubs on the turn. Daniel turns top 2. Louis, though, finds one of those cards that he's going to have to keep betting on. And of course, with a jack and 10 in his own hand, blocking some of that queen X.
350,000.
Of course, not blocking king queen, unfortunately for him. He does do so. It'd be interesting to see what happens on a brick. Well, that is not a brick, that is a king. And it's not the best card for Louis to bluff if he's trying to rep some king X on the turn. Actually, that's not true. I suppose aces is still a pretty clear value, but of course, queen 4-5 rainbow flop. Does move all in. He set it up on the turn with his bet sizing.
Sounds like Luigi fares quite well against ace-king. There he avoided it, so he fared well. Would have lost. And
how about aces?
My goodness,
for Frederick.
Dinner break?
Dinner will be at 6:30. Next round. Okay.
Roberto calls on the button with the ace-5 of spades. King-jack for Luigi in the big blind. 20 bigs behind.
Yeah, this is sort of tough too. Roberto has exactly what I would anticipate him to have here, and again, it's a matter of what does Frederick open with. Is he wide? Back-to-back hands, just showed ace-king. Do we give him credit for having a good enough hand here? We could shove, or we could do what he just did, and that's call. Let's see, 3.
Flops an open ender. Roberto flops the nut flush draw. Frederick's aces are best at the moment.
Everybody happy.
Everybody intrigued by this flop. Some action.
Yeah, and Frederick letting it soak in. We suspect Roberto should have some Broadway sort of holdings on the button. Obviously, we can see he has the nut flush draw, and Luigi likely to have hit this flop as well. It's exactly what's happened here. Decision time again for Luigi. Almost $1 million in the middle, and he has 1.2 behind. If we shove, do we suspect we're getting called? Likely, right? What do we give Roberto credit for? Do we know a queen is going to look us up? Frederick did continue in this pot. Have to be a little bit wary about him. I like this. Just call. Try and make our hand on the turn.
More than 1.1 million in the middle. Blank on the turn, 4 of hearts.
Yeah, and that is obviously clean for Frederick. I would be undeterred in this spot. Never worried about Luigi having me beat. And trying to get max value from Roberto. And, of course, denying equity from all of those draws. We need to put the pedal to the metal here. And let's bet something healthy, upwards of 800,000.
$675K is the bet on the turn.
Roberto now still getting a pretty good price. Implied odds after putting in an additional 675, being better than 4 to 1. Oh my goodness.
Wow, Roberto rips it in.
This is absolutely bananas. This looks like potentially a set. Would he do that with 2 10s? Very likely now with the presence of another flush draw. This is really twisted stuff by Roberto. My goodness.
After just calling on the flop, the Party Poker Team Pro rips it in there on the turn with the ace-5 of spades.
3, 7, 4,
Max pressure
3,700,000.
put on Frederick Anderson.
This is really disgusting stuff, and we have the ace of hearts in our hand. We can eliminate that sort of combo. So what is it? Could he settle on maybe king jack of hearts? Was it just the spade flush draw initially, or would he play a flop set just like this?
5 seconds.
Has some time extension cards. We expect he'll be using some. There's one. Stare down from the Swede. Can he find the call?
Just trying to pick up any bit of tell or nervousness, something uncomfortable about Roberto, and he is just poised. Brutal spot.
Another time extension used, another 30 seconds to act.
He's going to try and find some more stuff that he can beat. How about Queen X of spades? Certainly have to consider that holding. Question is, would he ever just move it in? Big gulp there.
Another time extension. Does the shove look even stronger, considering he still had Luigi to act?
I don't really think you're worried about Luigi. He only had 900 and some thousand left.
But could that look stronger to Frederick?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't think so. We already knew that it didn't matter, right? If you have a monster, you almost would want to call again.
I think that's the last of it as far as his time extension cards go. So the final 30 seconds left to act. If he does not act, his hand will be declared dead, which will be just fine for that man, Roberto Romanello. Putting Frederick to the test.
There are just so many hands he could have here that would be draws. I mean, think about it. 5, 6 of spades, what do you do with that?
5 seconds. 3, 2.
Countdown is on.
Wow.
And there is the laydown.
What do you have? You want to see? You can see it, or you can wait 30 minutes. I want to see.
He wants to see.
8, 9 hearts.
Leader Andre. Here is the man.
10 minutes.
So I just picked up 100k. But now we're down to the final 6, meaning every player guaranteed 140,000 euros.
And you? 1.
Andre's made it 10 million from the button. Different sizing this time. Looks like blinds may have gone up, that'd be why. See 4 million chips in front of Isildur. And Pavel is the only caller, ace, jack.
What's up?
And a great door card for him, jack of hearts.
Can you check?
Pavel, top pair, top kicker, and the backdoor nut flush draw. Andre, though, will take a stab at this one. And Pavel does, of course, check call with this hand. 58 million chips already in the pot. Turn 9 of hearts. Here's Andre an open ender, and Pavel, of course, the nut flush draw.
Can you check?
Andre now with 2 decisions. Whether he wants to try and make Pavel fold a hand like an 8. How many 8s does he call with from the small blind? Far more likely he has a jack or a flush draw on that flop. But Andre continues to apply pressure on these other players.
40?
Goes huge, 40 million the bet. Pavel in a horrible spot now. He knows if he calls this 40 million, he may well have to call off his stack on the river. This is a masterclass from Andre in playing the big stack. Pavel will, of course, have to call with the nut flush draw. Jack, hope that it slows down Andre. River, the 8 of hearts. Well, Pavel makes the nut flush. Andre, 10 high. Pavel will, I imagine, check this one on over to Andre. Very hard for Andre to bluff this one. If he does, it won't work. And he has gone all in. Andre moves all in. Pavel will look back, see the ace of hearts. The board is paired. But given the way Andre's been playing, I cannot imagine how Pavel will fold his flush. This is the biggest pot of the tournament. If Pavel were to call, doesn't like it, can't see how he can fold. Can't possibly fold the way Pavel has bet sized this hand. He does make the call. Andre will show him the bluff. And Pavel now, our huge chip leader, 368 million chip pot.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Yeah, hide everything.
Yeah.
Apart from your chips. You can't hide your chips. Got to keep them in front of you.
Snowman.
Well, they just ran poorly a second ago. 20 bigs. Opening up 1.1. I bet.
Just call. Nick's been in some spots.
Not making it easy.
No.
From here.
You could still have a pretty strong flat range here, so it's not like a lot of the time when you flat in spots, you're worried about people squeezing behind, but he's flatting versus a 20 big blind under the gun open, and already that looks pretty strong, so you shouldn't expect to get free bet bluffed here, I would say. And that's quite a big consideration. Oh boy, Scotty, 96.
Love it.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Over and out.
And Nick, Jack 6-7 with a heart.
Yeah.
Fair for Scotty.
Very clean flop for Nick. You're going to feel pretty good about your hand here.
Ramen, get a little go at this one.
Yeah.
Just the one over. Don't really want to be checking this, do you? And
Either way. I like a bet because you can get direct value from Scott if Nick folds. You protect your hand as well. When you've got this stack, every bet is very important.
yeah, because he's bet 1.3. Pot's now already 5.3.
He's bet about 16% of his stack or 15% of his stack, you know. That's quite an investment. But I like the bet. Definitely not a raise for Nick. Wonder if Scott can call. I don't think so.
Does find the fold.
And Ramen's going to be very concerned. Honestly, I think you're kind of just done with it. They have a lot of jacks in their range. What bluffs or floats does he have? Not many at all. Like King Queen of Diamonds, King 10 of Diamonds, those sort of hands maybe. But you know, you're reaching again.
Things getting back for Nick. Pick up nut flush to go with that top pair.
I would like a check back from Nick, I think. Just having the board this crushed. I think Ramen, when he checks, he is going to have some hands like 8s, 9s, 10s that could call now, but...
Can you bet really small in that instance, or is that just too...
You can, for sure, because...
in case you've got some of these floats.
If you've got 8s, if Nick's got 8s, for example, betting very small with 8s is great.
Right.
You take down the pot a lot and you get him to fold his overcards, which is huge. So you can bet really small, but I wouldn't really worry about balance too much here. I'd be pretty focused on him having like some worse hands, but mostly he's just going to be check folding, I feel like, a lot.
2 million on the bet.
Ramen ain't no fish. He understands that his opponent's got a range advantage here. And if Ramen had like better, he would just keep betting. So ace jack suited is like almost always ahead. An ace could come off and you could win a ton, you know. And he's calling. Okay. Not sure I like this.
He's drawing a little bit thin here.
You got to call some stuff.
Just here the diamonds as an out. That is definitely not an out. That is the nuts for Nick.
So when you check the turn, you allow them to make a lot of second best hands.
Check.
But Nick can still have 8-9 suited, I guess. Some bluffs. But people don't tend to flat very wide in mid or early position versus under the gun 20 big blinds.
All in.
All in a little bit. Ramen reaching down for those time cards.
I'd be shocked the Ramen calls this.
Has me covered or no? Count?
Yeah.
He does.
Still get a count for sure.
A few gold chips on top. Yeah, right, because the clock pauses.
She still
right?
didn't count. Yeah, I'm kind of confused by that.
Well, I think he asked if it was covered. The answer was yes.
Even then, you should. I think.
Right, you have the right
I think
to know
you
how many
just
chips they're
count.
risking,
They
right?
should just count it anyway. Like. I'm like, I want to count. Can you cut those down? Make sure they're 20s.
5 seconds.
You block the hands you want him to have.
Right.
So this is kind of the worst hand to call with. I mean, he could turn a 7 into a bluff, but like, why would he call with any hand with a 7 in it other than 7s in this position?
Right. And will you really bet the time with it?
He's
Rather than just checking
suited.
back.
Like,
5 seconds.
he possibly could bet the turn with a 7, like I said, for protection. Like, but mostly you just can't really think of that many hands.
Can Raman get out of this hole he's dug? Keep himself in the game. 5.5 million chips. It's 11 blinds. As Tom says, just keeping yourself in the game is so important in tournaments.
But also he's paying $1 million next hand. That's probably That's probably working into his thinking. Like, if I don't call and win here, I'm screwed.
If you call and lose, you're definitely screwed.
Yeah. If you call and lose, you at least you receive $40,000. Also, you could just shove pre. It's a lot. 20 bigs under the gun. 7-handed. Definitely profitable. If you're not, if it's a really tough table and you're not super confident post flop, then you might just want to open jam. People like to think like, oh, why would you jam? It's so risky to risk 20 big blinds, but that's counterintuitive thinking.
Right.
Because
we see here how risky it is
it's
not jamming them.
When you do jam, not to say this was a mistake, I think he's played it pretty well. Turn was kind of tricky, but it can be lower variance to shove because you get people to fold a lot of overcards and you
just don't get in the
spots. Yeah, you reduce these tricky spots.
Cool.
Wow.
It calls. And
I mean, that's showing some heart. I respect it.
bad news for Raman.
Good game,
Nick,
Raman.
it's 24 million.
I like that
dude. Yeah, I know. How many chips he had? 5 million? How long did it take him to lose it? An hour? Not great.
Well, we saw a bit earlier as a rough day for Luis Kamei, who entered the day with more than 4 million in chips, was eliminated at this feature table. Rough day as well for Tommy Jansen, who came in with about the same stack, and he has been eliminated.
Dropping like flies.
Yeah. Carlos just limping in with the Jack-10 of spades. Adolfo raising it up. Pretty small with the ace-9. Price certainly right for Hugo. Carlos, of course, in there as well. Wow, 9-5-3 with 2 spades. Something for everybody. Hugo with the pair and the flush draw. Carlos with the better flush draw. Adolfo, top pair.
What's that?
I just saw that Romero busted this from an hour and a half ago, so never mind.
The 9-4 suited shot?
Yeah.
Is it possible?
I heard about that.
Somehow see a three-way all-in.
Carlos the one betting, called by both Adolfo and Hugo.
Oh, okay, so Adolfo we didn't see. He just called with the 9. All right.
Yes.
And
King of diamonds on the turn. Yeah, gut shot for Carlos. Does he continue to fire?
What you guys were staring at the 4-4 board for. You had quads?
What's that?
You guys, every time a 4-4 came out,
yeah,
you guys were
like
laughing.
Joke, like
yeah.
4s, and then after I hit the quads, I literally just like shoved down pocket 4s like 3 different times. And
blast
like, the
off.
first hand of this table, I had pocket 4s.
Will fire again, 375,000.
Oh yeah, you did. That's right. The 5-5 queen queen. Funny.
Action is on Adolfo.
Neither of these guys. We have yet to see Adolfo yet. That's Hugo. Hugo's waiting on Adolfo to decide.
Now it's the opposite hand.
Adolfo did decide to lay it down.
So now it's on Hugo.
river force. It's like a dagger through your heart. It even looks like a dagger.
First, I told you about the hand in the day one of the Super High Roller.
Yeah.
Forest flop set, guys barreling huge, every street, gut shot river, all of them call. Like, no.
Hugo calls another 3 on the river. Trip 3s for Hugo.
Well, this could be it for Carlos if he decides to pump it in.
Will Hugo check one more time?
Yeah, Hugo, if he were to jam here, we'll let him off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
He may elect to do that for the times that Carlos is just way too content to shut it down. And here we go. He's going to try and eke out a little bit.
Yeah, look for a little bit. Makes sense. It's 375K. And
what?
Carlos just snap called with Jack High.
Jack High again. He just called.
It's no good this time.
What? What just happened?
Flush.
Huh?
Pause.
Flush.
Pause.
Oh, he thinks.
Oh.
Oh, that's a brutal one. Thought he had the flush.
Wow.
That is
my
a
goodness.
costly misread.
Antoine under the gun. King Jack, 16 big blinds now. See, he a bit shy on the opening.
If he's not going to open it, he might as well just pass it over to Michael and he can open it.
Here's a hand that will get open, Ludo.
The ices.
The ices. $13 million in the raise is of course 3 million, 6 million here. Kind of surprised we're still 6-handed, Ludo. Stacks are shadowed. Obviously these guys are all very good and understanding ICM, so it's no surprise, I guess, to see it go this long 6-handed. Now, Michael with a peel from the big 10-7 off.
120. 120. Thank you.
Probably one of the worst hands he's going to peel with, right?
Start the hand.
Yeah, it's fine because it's heads up, but Giannis is obviously early-ish position, but like he's still got the chip lead.
8-5-3, 2 diamonds. Michael has a lot of back doors, but not much else on this one. Giannis aces, of course. Still looking pretty good. And of course, blocks nothing with the aces, does he, Ludo? Blocks none of the pairs.
I just
none of
noticed.
the draws.
I just noticed that Giannis is in the cutoff. I read that incorrectly. It's 6-handed anyway. Doesn't make much of a difference. Right. Okay. I don't know what's happening here. He shouldn't be check calling with 10-7 of diamonds. Obviously, he's going to be trying to represent something at a later street.
Well, good luck on this street. Giannis turns top set.
Like, if he's going to continue here, he's going to just like check raise with the 7 of diamonds, pick up some straight draws and flush draws or whatever. The check call off that shallow stack, you're going to just get double barreled a lot is when it comes a high card as well. Let's say it comes like a jack, queen, or a king, it's going to just go double barrel for like 25 million. And what are you going to do? Like, you've just kind of gave away 12 million. If you're going to make a play, I think you're better off just like check raising the flop.
And Giannis continuing the heat. I guess he's up against some draws and some pairs, and he checks back some ace highs on the flops. Maybe doesn't have quite as many as them. His opponent can have a lot of ace highs, in theory. At 19 million the bet.
I think there's a glitch. I don't know. I was like, he must have misread his hand. Or maybe like he's looking for a card to open jam the river or something. So if it comes like a 4 or a diamond or a 9 or a 6 or something, he's going to just open jam the river for 76 million.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's caught a 10 now, he's now got showdown, so he doesn't need to open jam.
I mean, I've gone silent because I have no idea what he's doing. Ludo's trying to work it out, but...
Yeah, I'm trying to work it out here. And I think...
Oh, no, what did he have for dinner?
I'm saying, like...
And now he's in a horrible spot.
Like, he must be looking for a card to come to, like, represent something. Because obviously 10 high is no good.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden the 10 comes on the river and he's picked up Showdown, so he doesn't need to do that anymore, so he checks. And I've just got deja vu. As if I've seen this before, or been here before, in this exact moment, where I've commentated or I've seen this. I don't know why, I just had deja vu. Strange.
Glitch in the simulation.
I don't know. I'm saying if I'm getting that, then it must be a glitch or something. I don't know.
This is just... I mean, this hand's just bizarre all
like,
over.
I can't have seen a spot like this, because this spot has never ever came up in the history of poker. I don't think so anyway. Especially not... It's not a good time to start running these kind of sims at the final table and it's £1 million up top.
I mean, you've tried to obviously break down what perhaps he was thinking, but
yeah.
I mean, this is...
Who knows? He might not have 10-7 with the 10 of clubs and the 7 of diamonds. He might have something else.
That, actually, I didn't think
it might be a glitch. I'm saying like on the software or something, which I don't think is the case.
No, no. I think you're right. I think that's obviously far more likely what it is. I didn't think that it happens exceptionally rarely, but occasionally there have been mistakes in the graphics. So that must be what it is. I can't remember. I didn't think of that, Ludo. Of course, it must be what it is. It makes no sense otherwise, does it?
He might just have 10-7 of diamonds. He's check called the flop with the flush draw. Still check raised. Check called the.
Well, we're going to find out because he has called the river. Set of aces, of course.
It isn't. It's actually the 10 of clubs and the 7 of diamonds. And like, let's see the faces. There's Tom's face.
Yeah.
There's Labatt's face.
Alex
Foxen doesn't know what's happened. I think he's not caught the full hand.
Nine, 3 deuce, all spades. Michael flops a flush. Alex with top pair. I think he'd a bet very small. Check back. He's gone very small, 80k. Jack on the turn. Alex checks. So he made up against a flop flush. Jack, not a great card, but not willing to give up the flop top pair just yet. Well, cool to see. 10 of spades roll off on the river. Well, now he's not really beating anything. But then the complete airballs. $225 the bet. And as I said, I think Alex just has to let this go. He's going to have enough flushes when he gets to this river. He doesn't need to start calling with what is now ultimately third pair. Oh, he's reaching for chips. He's just trying to get a read perhaps. Well, he's made a call and I just don't understand this one. Exceptionally optimistic call.
Ryan Reese, the ace-jack and the hijack. Makes it 110K. King 6 for Roberto in the big blind. He'll defend. Reese about 15 bigs behind. Comes King 10-5, top pair for Roberto.
Roberto is so fascinating to me. Defending the King 6, Reese with a really nice check back here with ace-jack, and my goodness, just buries the biscuit.
The straight.
Wow, all the gravy.
295K in the pot. Reese with 725K behind.
Yeah, this sort of wet texture. How much for Ryan Reese? 175 feels right. How about 150? What do we do now? Top pair. I mean, we came along for the ride pre. We hit top pair. I know the board's ugly, but I think we just have to pay him the money here in this spot at least one time. Reevaluate on the river. I'd feel a lot better if I had any sort of club in my hand, clearly.
Does make the call. Ooh, the river is another king.
A disaster.
Yeah.
Really. This is
never getting away for 575K.
Likely to be a full double up here for Ryan Reese. Then again, it's Roberto. The guy just he really fascinating as to how he proceeds with his hands. And could he find a hero fold here in this spot? Yeah, maybe. Obviously, ace jack, jack nine, the club's got there. Could he have tens full? You know, unlikely that he'd have king X when you have a king in your hand. He's taking this much time as he. Look at this, disaster.
Just going to lead out. He'll pay off that time bank and he'll pay off Ryan Reese here, most likely. Although, yeah.
Look at this. Reese thinking, God, there's no way he would just have king X, right? I mean, would it?
Right, and then, yeah. What else would he do that with?
This is just such a. I told you, Roberto fascinates me. This is an unorthodox, just I'm all in sort of line with this hand. It's. What are we targeting? Do we really think our opponent has a queen and then bets? This might actually work somehow. I don't think Roberto is intending to fold out a hand as strong as ace jack here.
Right. Is this actually going to work as a bluff? Not that it's intended to be one, but will it work as one?
No, this is not intended to be a bluff. In Roberto's mind, this is straight value. He thinks Ryan has a queen.
Hand might be too strong to fold.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You're not folding ace jack. You know, sometimes you got to pay him the money. Show me a winner. If you got it, knock the table, good hand, walk away. Always a new tournament tomorrow. And Reese obviously giving credit to Roberto for having a hand like king 10, king queen, pretty much that exactly. Maybe somehow like pocket fives. Maybe a flush you could play this way.
Clubs.
Yeah. You know.
Went check on the flop. Roberto check called a bet of 150K from Reese on the turn. And on the river, it's Roberto leading out here. The effective shove. Reese pained by this decision.
Reese really just saying, okay, are there any bluffs? No. So in his mind, what value does Roberto have that he's moving all in with? And he's got to decide if it's king X. And I think the bigger part of this is already what he said and vocalizes. My hand is just too good to fold.
That looks like his last time bank that he used, so he'll have 30 more seconds to act, and he's got to make a decision.
I am not a world champion, Jeff. I know that's hard to believe, but I think we have to call.
And Reese. It's just seconds to act. He's going to have to fold. Time ran out. Those cards are into the muck.
So, so one. If you want. There.
Oh no, don't show the 6 ball.
Good.
Queen 8 of hearts.
Well, maybe
for Cale Burns, Ace 8 for Igor.
Yeah, maybe the sort of hand we do find a 3-bet with Ace 8, and if there's a 4-bet, we can easily fold the Ace 8. I would have to believe. Although once in a while, maybe against a guy like Cal, we feel good about it. 2.5 is rather large sizing.
Yeah.
We may give up the Queen 8 of hearts. Something smaller, we may elect to continue, which is why these raise sizes are on the larger side. Look at this. Cal says, you know what, let's gamble.
So let's play.
Come on, let's go. And he has gotten himself in a relatively difficult spot.
Behind.
Completely dominated.
You're going up on. You did that while working at your own stack, didn't you?
Million in this pot.
I'm looking at yours.
And it comes 9-4-5, all hearts. Burns flops the flush. Igor has the ace of hearts.
Certainly is decision time here for Igor. If we do elect to bet this board, how much?
He checks.
Is he going for a check raise? That is what I'm inclined to believe. Put the popcorn down. Tune in.
Goes check, check. Turn is a 7.
Igor wondering, what would Cal consider checking back on that board? Could he have maybe just a Queen X of heart? Could he have the King of Hearts in his hand? Do we still have him beat? And if that's the case,
3.3.
let's give him the perfect price. Let's see what Cal does now. If I'm Cal, Jeff, I like just a call, and we are calling everything on the river, which potentially could be an all-in. Igor may elect to shove, whether he makes that flush, specifically when he doesn't.
There is that call. Biggest pot yet in heads-up play. Kurganov does not river a heart. River's an 8.
Could this card change Igor's plan? A one-liner now. Any 6 making a straight. Still have to be worried about a flush. And this is twisted. We know Cal likely to just move it in. Igor has an ultimate bluff catcher on his hands. Making that pair could be devastating.
Use a time bank, granting him an additional 30 seconds to act.
Cal taking max time here before he moves it into the middle. Suggesting to Igor that he's thinking everything through, giving Igor time to potentially come up with bluffs that he can beat.
There's the shove. Kurganov's turn to use the time banks.
You can see how pained Igor is. Honestly, whether he made an 8 or not, Doesn't really change much. It will certainly confuse him a bit more. Yes, 10-Jack got there. Could Cal have 10-Jack with just one heart in his hand? Is it always just a suited hand he called with Bree? There's the call.
He calls.
Queen 8 of hearts. No.
That Queen 8 of hearts is good for a double up for Cale Burns. And just like that, it's now Burns with the massive chip lead. Wow.
Paul Newey up £400 in the game. So exciting. 400 straddles on. Action will start on Dan.
Feels like the future, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Unfortunately.
I can play. What you got to do is you got to say
He does limp in.
7-2 rule. Yeah?
Good one. Pushing around to Sam. King Deuce offsuit in the small. He's not going to play. Paul completes. Michael certainly, surely will raise at Ace Jack from the straddle.
Yeah.
And he does.
Double tree.
Raise 18, yeah.
Still might take you up on that because it's going to be nice than double tree.
Yeah. Small table, nice, have a few drinks. I've got three. I've got that. I've opened that Hibiki.
The what?
The Wickery whiskey. Well, last time you stayed in, you and Ben, drunk 2 £400 bottles of whiskey.
Never let that down, do you?
It's like that.
Counting every
I give
pound.
all the cheap shit. And it was like
Dan makes the call with his pair of fives. These two
Hey, I found another one here, Ben.
head to the flop, heads up. Paul gives up Queen 9.
Palm was off with the Lambrini at first, wasn't you?
Then they found a 50-year-old.
Not yet, thanks.
Check the inventory the day after. I bet you've got like a spreadsheet of all the...
Had to restart.
Queen, Jack, 9. So Michael with second pair backdoor hearts.
Oh, yeah.
On those replays that you do.
Interested to see how he plays
6 o'clock
this.
in the morning, he's betting
Out
on
of position now
Australian
makes more
horses,
sense.
he's got a clue. I'll take that bet. That one looks good. It's got 4 legs.
I reckon I'll
give you 5
This is a spot that I would sometimes start bluffing in Dan's spot, just because it's kind of a really good,
I think I'm down about 100 grand.
really good board for you
Remember when I
versus
came
your
and
opponent.
smashed off my poker account and pitched out my head?
With a board this wet, I mean, you could probably just
You woke
choose
up next day on that.
It was like
some
that.
actual
The thing is,
potential to make a
thing
good
is,
hand.
he couldn't get a signal.
Fives
Yeah,
are
horses, every time I go see him, I leave it after.
My broadband wasn't
Well,
working.
checks the river. Both make a flush. Michael, of course, with the nuts.
Never seen anything like it. Like, he's moving around the house like that with his laptop trying to get a signal. I'm just tapping away. I went to bed at 5 o'clock here. I got up at 9. He's still there in the kitchen with Ben walking around.
Trying to get out of it.
Trying to get out of it.
4,500.
That's it.
Remember one night we were playing
it's
like $1, $2 or something.
Oh, it was
And you
sick.
played like a genius.
We were playing, no, we were
making all
playing
these tight
2
holes.
cent. We were playing 2 cent, 4 cent. PLO.
I mean, you're sort of naturally polarised here.
And I passed the
Whatever
serve.
you bet, you're trying to have a flush or nothing here.
I promise
I
it's
mean,
true.
if you bet super small, you can
And
have
then like
maybe
we
a
went
straight,
into the
but
big
normally you're
stakes
going to bet
and just
down the
cracked
turn
up and
anyway.
smashed it all in.
So
Yeah,
he
like-
basically just
We
said,
actually got
I
to
mean,
him from the
whatever size he bets, he has
We
a
got
flush or
down to a
nothing, so
pound
might
in
as
the
well go
account. We were
big.
playing 2 cent, 4 cent, right? We spread it. We
If
got,
he
we
was
got up to
like
about
that, or
1,500,
when he has
yeah?
the nuts.
It just killed the small game, right? And we went against the
You
big
could potentially
game.
look,
Toasted.
try and have
He went to
two
the toilet,
sides
come out
like
with
Suspicious.
an 8 of hearts or something.
So what are you doing?
Isn't
He said, oh, he has to have it, he has to
I
have
said,
it.
he's got to have it. I said, there's no way this guy bets 8p. And this has got it.
That was the state of us. We're absolutely out of our minds, running it up. And then we just like...
Hard to fold a flush.
It is hard to fold a flush.
That could have been a good...
Someone at
Limited
toilet
hold'em.
said, as you are. Come out and went, Planet. I tried to make it out. I got done on like really bad beat. It was like looking up on the
Ten, five, three.
like, what are you doing?
I mean, you could certainly see if
10-8-5-3 double.
Michael had this
All
exact
in
hand,
threes.
but without the ace of hearts,
Got
he
called by
may
ace of double
do the
zero.
same thing. Very hard for him to be good by the
guy was
time,
never
by this
passing.
point.
It's hard to push somebody off of ace to double suit.
Or ace 9, you know, where he really is very unlikely to have the best hand.
I mean, if you're ever passing that hand, you shouldn't really be playing, should you?
So I can't blame Dan for calling here with a 5.
I'm not bad cold though.
Oi oi.
Oh.
Yeah, this would be
Yeah, me
quite
and Ben
unusual.
had a break last time when we were
Don't think it makes
playing
any
pool
sense.
and darts and drinking and that till quarter to nine.
He doesn't make the call. Michael will table the nuts. And he's nearly out of the hole after his bad start.
Oh look, there you go.
When the
That's
button
like-
opens and the small blind 3 bets, they've got a lot less hands than these two would.
Right.
So when you end up shoving with 7s, you end up getting called a lot more.
10-10-3 flop. Yuri opened black aces.
I think he's going to check back.
Pads.
I don't know if it's theoretically correct, but I like a check back when you have ace of clubs.
He's going to bet 150, and surely Pad's going to come along for one more card with King Queen.
Yeah. It's the sizing, isn't it, that makes it...
Flicks it in. 4 on the turn. No pair hands.
Block the big flush draw.
Like Kings is a lot better to bet here again, right, than Aces.
I would find a check
difference.
on one of the streets. That would be my thing.
He does check. Jack on the end.
No, I don't think so.
Wow. This is surely
He's
getting...
overbet put 150%. This is a snap call, right?
Yeah.
He blocks the ace of clubs. I get that, but like, this is Patrick Leonard.
Right, but the ace of clubs, Patrick might not even bet, right? He might just try and get ace high to showdown.
No. There are certain guys, both of these guys tick the box where if they do this and I'm like under-repped, top of my range sort of hand, I just click the call button instantly and just, you know, hope for the best. Yuri is definitely in the same boat of being capable.
Flicks it in.
But these guys are smart enough to think about it. You know, I'm just like, I has the aces against a guy like this.
I reckon Sam's going to needle him over something here. Sam on the bottom with 7s. He's facing a raise from Gaston, who has opened with 8-4 of diamonds. Gaston's back, ladies and gentlemen. Ace-9 deuce. Midi peeling from the big. Pairs his ace. Checks to Gaston, who doesn't know the meaning of the words slow down. He bets. Sam quickly throws away his 7s. Maybe we'll call this one.
Right. 2.4.
Well, Moody check raising. Trying to play this one for stacks. Does look very bluffy. Midi check raising ace-9 deuce. Wants to give Gaston a chance to do something rash.
Just below 6.
Cinco.
And Gaston, there you go, does make the call with 8-4 of diamonds. Exactly what Midi was after. Midi knows his man.
So 5, 6.
Well, I'd be scared if I were Midi. How animated Gaston looks. And Gaston quickly bets when check 2 on the turn. 2 million, and the way Midi's played this, he just calls and checks the river. And it's kind of a good card for Gaston to bluff, really. It blocks some of Midi's value check raise hands on the flop. Ace-9 deuce, perhaps. And he quickly moves all in. Midi quickly makes the call, and that was very well played by Midi. He read it well. He knew Gaston was ready to fire off. And he gave the man just enough rope. Daniel limps the small. Bruno. Raise it up in the big blind. Ace-10 of clubs. It sounds like last 4 hands is what they have finally figured out. Daniel does limp call his Queen-10. Ace-7-3. Bruno flopping best once more. And a flop he's going to bet very high percentage of the time when check 2. Being raised pre.
Bet 1.3.
1.3 is the bet. To 5.2. So quarter pot. And here we go. Daniel gonna look him up for 1 street with Queen high. 10 on the turn. Bruno top 2. Daniel now in a position to get himself some trouble, having turned a pair.
Bet. 5.8.
5.8 into 7.8. I like it. A lot of bluffs possible as well. Bruno might have turned flush draws. Some of those Broadway combos do raise pre-flop. Most of those suited combos check back pre. Daniel is going to call once more. Queen is not a good card to have in your hand at this point. Ace on the end. Gin for Bruno. Ace is fallen. Well, a card removed that Daniel loses to.
Check.
Daniel's going to check and expect Bruno to go very big here.
Happens. Bet.
13.5.
13 million.
Again, every bet here targeting ace-x. Don't expect Daniel to ever really got to this point without an ace. Well, he does make a crying call. It's the bad news. Daniel peeled one on the flop with queen high, turn to 10, and that caused disaster.
It's a hand that you don't want a flat call with. So why do I like it? Because Thiago's got about 35 big blinds, and when people open off 35 big blinds, it's very hard for them to do anything other than shove or fold when you 3-bet them to the correct sizing.
Papo peels the big king-queen.
And let's say he's got king-queen off, he's going to hate his life, but probably sometimes call, maybe fold, I'm not sure, honestly. But he's definitely going to raise with hands like ace-5 suited, 8-9 suited, so he's going to be forced to fold a lot if he's folding ace-jack, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He's going to c-bet king-jack 3 with his gut shot
Nice
draw.
little down bet. You're not trying to get in really tricky, tough spots against under the gun.
Queen is the gin
Queen
card
is
for
the
him.
one, isn't it?
Would get him Papo's stack.
See Thiago continuing here. 2 pair that he's made like king 4 suited, I think. Most of the time he's going to have king 5 suited through king 10, and almost none of those hands can call free, usually anyway.
Right.
So
let's put the cape on.
If Thiago, if another heart comes off, I imagine Thiago will definitely go 3 times. I think he's definitely going to bet this turn. And if the river comes a non-heart, we'll see what happens.
So you're going 7.5. Nice playing out some extra chips. 8.5. So a fraction under half pot. You're still happy with the situation, but you'd much rather hear him just check back that you know your king queen's good. You're going to win this pot.
Feels
Every pot's so
much better.
crucial when you're playing 30 big
When they
blinds.
check back the turn, you feel so much more comfortable about the river situation. Pot size dictates so much. His, how popular he is, etc. But he was in the celebrity game the other day, so he's not a professional. He's definitely held his own, for sure.
Well, he's definitely a good poker player.
Yeah. See, now, I wanted to see a heart, but he might still go... One thing is, though, he's got 37. He's got more than pot behind, Papo has.
Yeah.
And people like to set up the pot size river shove. So I think he's checked. Oh no, he's done it.
He's gone all in.
He's done it.
The turn bet.
I think he can find a call here, but it's tough. Capable of turning a flush draw and decided to go all the way. Ace queen, queen 10. Papo, when he's done it.
He's made the call. Huge call from Papo. Thiago down to 17.7 million.
Quickly as well.
Papo over the 100 million mark. Sam in the small, limping him at ace-7. Enyo popping it up, queen, jack. Now Sam, is he going to drop the hammer here?
He's got an
30
interesting
bigs.
spot,
Seems
yeah.
like that's probably a little bit too much, right?
The thing is, he's also just been navigating so well, keeping the pot small.
Right.
He's got him in right where he wants him. He's
8-8-5, good flop for Sam's hand.
Yeah, not going to be going anywhere for any kind of bet, that's for sure.
Sam's cutting out a bet here.
I wonder if he's trying to get him to fold a better ace high sometimes with houses played. He could have ace 10, ace jack, ace queen, ace king. And what is bet size?
This is kind of weird. Yeah, about half pot, a little bit more.
I think that's what he's thinking, that his opponent may have a better ace.
Well, I think, but I mean, is he really going to fold with 3/8 on the board? It just doesn't seem like he'd fold that. I wonder if he's trying to get him to call with worse hand, like king high or queen high. Just, you know, it's trips on board. We're playing hold and blind on blind.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, you're right.
Yeah, and there we go. It has worked. He got him to call with queen high.
That's thin. That is a thin call.
Wow. Everything going the way of the squid. Enyo down to just 21
Jamie
bigs.
Kerstetter or Nick Schulman, who doesn't tweet that often, but when he does tweet, it's pretty powerful.
It's funny,
Sorry,
it's funny
who
you
are you
said
going to
that,
go with?
'cause Shulman actually just dropped a bomb on us a second ago.
I did see that, yeah.
Which triggered the question. And Shulman is not my answer.
Okay.
However, great choice. And, I you know, maybe even the year. I'm going to go with Luke Schwartz.
Oh, okay, full flush.
So for why he's my favorite Twitter follow right now. Everything he's saying out there is quite funny. Brings a little attitude, a little swag, some humor, of course. His perspective on the Phil Galfond challenge, issued a nice little statement there, which followed up by a Galfond response, and they're very friendly with one another. Yeah. I'm loving Luke Schwartz on Twitter right now. Go ahead and give him a follow. Check out what he has to say.
Okay.
Now, Nick Schulman, on the other hand, let me type into your Twitter. Pick this up. Is Romero thinking about getting a little frisky with the 7-8 offsuit from the big blind? Probably just going to play a little defense. Eduardo does open snug. He's under the gun +1. Schulman, a little tweet said he was too tilted to post it at the time. However, this picture stuck with him. Is Phil Ivey ordered a beautiful little sushi dinner to Bobby's room and just roared through a bag of Skittles at the same time. And he said, don't worry about how I eat. I eat good. I'm good. I'm good. And Nick took a picture and provided it for us here on Twitter. There it is. Sushi platter, some Skittles.
The legend of Phil Ivey continues to grow.
Yeah. Nice to have Ivey back.
Yeah.
He certainly is back playing cash games. Wonderful. How about James here? King 9-9 going to take the unorthodox lead. And I think this works whenever our opponent doesn't, you know, have this. James has to be done, I assume, unless he just plans to run a savage bluff, repping a 9 on every single street. I don't think that's going to work, but let's see. You never know with Romero, the lick. And he is going to do it. Romero.
Yeah, firing again on the turn.
He is after throats. Going to try and represent. Eduardo is just simply licking his chops, I believe. Not going to fold ace-king here.
Yeah, perfectly content with going call, call, call. James does river a no-good 7. James uses a time extension card.
I mean, he is twisted, this kid.
Yeah.
Romero is just representing a 9 by betting every single street if he does it again. He's asking himself, can I possibly force a king to fold? Could he have turned just a nut flush draw? If that's the case, can I get to showdown with this 7? Is he really going to risk it right here?
There it is from James Romero.
Oh my
Leads
goodness
flop,
gracious.
leads turn, shoves river.
¿Cuánto es?
3 millones.
And he is
¿Cuánto?
targeting, hoping that it's perhaps
Más o menos
10s,
3
jacks,
millones.
queens,
100 menos, 100 más.
representing a 9. I think ace king's going to be hard for him to get to fold. It is still sick and twisted.
Eduardo raised pre. James defended out of the big blind on the king 9-9 flop. James took the lead. Time extension card used by Eduardo. James took the lead again on the turn for a final time here on the river for all of it. We've discussed how he is indeed one of the more creative players that this game has.
A 7.
Putting that creativity on full display here.
5 puntos, no sé qué. A 5.
But is this going to work? Another time extension card used.
O sea que marchó.
3 millones es.
2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 2, 8, 2, 9, 300 más o menos.
Decime cuánto es.
The shove representing a slight over bet.
2, 9. 3.
3 millones 75.
3 millones 75 mil.
Eduardo at least counting out the chips. Another time extension card used. Looks like he has at least one time extension card left.
I can't believe this might actually
maybe
work.
one more after that one was
The fact
tossed
that he's in the
in.
tank this long with ace king, I can't believe Romero found this in him. Clearly, again, targeting 10s, jacks, queens, trying to force those into the muck. And maybe once in a while the king, but he's going to call. And James Romero is out of the door. Wait a minute. What just happened?
Be careful as he slams his cards down. That ace king is good. A magnificent attempt at a bluff by James Romero. It does not get through, though. He gets looked up by it.
And I got him. James Romero, Instagram.
Found him?
Yeah, it's Board Rider. All right, so
Board
I've got
Rider.
that part down.
Okay.
Board Rider 686868.
Okay.
And he's doing a lot of the stories.
Yeah.
Other than that, he doesn't have a lot of posts, but a lot of stories. Instagram up and running. Go ahead, give him a follow. There you
So
go,
we saw
James
this
Romero.
on his story, yeah?
There it is. Yeah, he's got some great stories out there. Uruguay, nice little overhead shot.
Oh, yeah.
A little lunch with Jack Sinclair and Kenny Hallert. Chip leader, he sang. Final table. There we are.
Okay.
All right.
And here he is limping in blind versus blind. With the 9-3 off, Jacob has king 3. Romero, almost 10 million in chips. Ace, king, jack, kings for Jake. Check, check. Another king for Jake. Brent, you clearing house over there?
I'm just getting
we
rid
hear
of some
a lot
things,
of
yeah.
rustling.
Well, Jeff, you know how important I am. I have a lot of
No.
papers I have to have in
Yeah.
front of me. A lot of business to take care of, Jeff. I have a lot of
Well, clearly not a lot you have to have in
things
front
on
of
my
you because
mind.
you're throwing papers everywhere.
I'm getting rid of those who have fallen, who are no
Oh,
longer
wow.
with us.
So you just toss their papers?
I do. I don't need them
Wow.
anymore. They're going to sit over here on the floor. Yeah, I don't need them anymore, Jeff.
You don't keep them as a souvenir of
I
sorts?
don't. No, I don't, Jeff. Some I do. Eric Seidel's, I keep all of his files every single time. I have a collection.
Jake has set the trap here, but it did not work. James didn't fall for it. He checks once again. Here are some of my papers, Brent, that you can
All right,
toss.
let's just go. There we go. You have any more?
I think so. Stand by. As Jake bets 260K, looking for some
You
value
really
with
should be
trips.
cleaning up your own area over there, Jeff. This is
Very organized. Thank you very much.
you keep all of them, huh?
Okay,
Since
there you
we've
go.
ever started.
No, not all of them, but a decent amount, yeah. James called.
Wow. I mean, this is
and laughs
amazing.
About this.
The 9-high call. Heroic.
Call gone wrong.
I thought that hand was over, I guess.
Heads up. 5-3-3, 2 diamonds.
Check.
Yadi checks.
Check.
Ben going to check back aces with the nut diamond on this flop. Flop that obviously favours the big.
That's 1.1 million.
And you're only betting 1.1. Alright, here we go.
Oh.
Jack on the river. Value range, or whether he's going to go bigger, lean towards more. 3x
At
and
1.6
flushes, but
million.
he's gone the former. He's betting a sizing that could easily be a 5.
Oh.
Cool and win. Ben up to just short of 40 million. You're only down to 25.
Excuse me. What's that?
Here we go. Ryan picks up a huge hand first to speak. 2 queens. Now, Johannes just 3-bet the last hand, and he's now picked up King 10 suited. So I'm expecting him to call this hand in the hijack.
Bet the last hand against the same player. I do like this play when you 3-bet the same guy 2 hands in a row. Most people don't, even if they're 3-betting light, they're not going to 3-bet as many hands light. Ryan this time would of course be playing. Just a question of to 4-bet or to flat. I think this hand he's just got a 4-bet go with.
I think so. I mean, it's not like Johannes has got million chips. He's only got 500,000.
Yeah, just over 30 bigs.
And he's not in position, so. I would regard this flatting with the queens here as an error.
Well, he does just flat.
Well.
Does keep in the King 10. 245 in the pot. And what, 8-6 deuce.
My hat's off. He knows more than I do.
Hard to get Johannes to put too much in here.
Similar personality.
But see, I think Johannes after that, he was so quiet, and he re-raised the ace-4. The blood's come up in him. And I think he might be suffering from pedalitis.
$50K the bet. Ryan will call.
He's taking a risky line here.
Well, I don't think there's much point in raising here. You're only protecting what against an ace or a king, and you allow Johannes to keep barreling with a hand like the one he has, just one overcard. 8 on the turn is interesting.
And I suppose the other reason where this play makes sense is Johannes does only have, it's not a cash game, you know, he does only have 500,000 back. So if it all goes incredibly wrong, you know, Ryan is still going to have 1.1 million. So maybe he's thinking like that a bit.
Johannes is giving up for now, 7 on the river. There are some missed draws here. Ryan could potentially rep with a bluff. Value bet his queens. He may, of course, check and give Johannes one more chance to have a stab at it. But Johannes will have some hands that can cool down here. Ace King High, for example. And there you go, 150 to bet.
At least he's given him the opportunity. I would have liked even a bit smaller, you know, to at least give him some opportunity to shove. But it's small difference.
Should just be a fold for Johannes. So there are some missed draws, but some of them will be ace high.
Nah, he's given up. You can feel it in his face.
No shot clock in this event until nearer the money. Not to say that anyone's been excessively tanky. He is thinking about this. I don't think he's just wasting time. He's trying to get any chance he does have the best hand.
But let's be honest. If he genuinely is thinking about it, he's given away.
Oh, I think he's thinking about calling. I don't think he's thinking about raising. I think he's thinking, is there a way I can beat some hands? And there just aren't that many. Although this would be a great Hollywood if he did this and then raised.
Yeah.
Like, he looked so weak. Surely he must have it.
Yeah, I do think he's in an overthinking himself.
Oh, don't do it. Oh,
yeah,
no, this is not
he's
good.
talked himself into calling here. I didn't think there was any chance of him calling, to be honest with you.
No, I can see where he's coming from, but he just loses to some of those bluffs. And if you lose to some of the bluffs.
7 is the kind of worst card almost,
apart
from like 7 spades or something. You know, it's...
Yeah, he loses to 7, 9, 9, 10. They've got their 7, 10 even.
Like beating that man, Yak Wu. Now we are on to the main event with more than 500 players down to 25.
I didn't see it flash,
The plan today is to play down to our final 8. Come back tomorrow and we play down to a champion.
And they're well on their way. They came back with 72 players.
Yeah.
And it's been just short of 4 hours. They've lost 47 of them.
If I have a rack, I can just buy all this 25.
At a rate of about 1 every 5 minutes. Why am I bothering trying to do math right now? I'm so tired.
I know. Wouldn't advise it in the early morning hours here in Vegas. Howard limps in on the button with the Queen 9 of spades. Yak Wu just fine with checking the 5 deuce. Howard flops a 9.
Hope we're gonna play one more hand.
Okay.
Over at one of our outer tables, Charlie Carroll just got the chips in with 7s against Mark Blasco's ace king. The 7s held up. Carroll doubled up to more than 24 million in chips, up to almost 50 big blinds. As Kenny Howard turns another 9. Mark Blasco down to about 13 million.
650.
Kenny with a little bit of good luck here. That Yaku decides to try to represent this 9 that Kenny's actually holding.
Howard just call. River's the 4. The nut low for Yakwu. We fire one more time.
Might be a cool spot to fire a very tiny blocker looking bet, just in case Kenny has a hand like 7-8, Jack Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those, you could have King Jack for the gutter, and then you get to win with your 5 high instead of checking, and it looks like he is.
There's a pretty small one, 1.2 million.
You see it's not going to work, but it's pretty cool nonetheless.
In theory. Howard has 6.6 million in chips.
All in.
Most in.
Most in. Leaves that one chip behind.
It's got to be so frustrating for dealers who've been for 10 years doing this, saying, come on, it's all in. Oh.
Kenny Howard takes down a decent pot.
That would be a frustrating part of the job as a dealer with everything changing. Like, I would want one player to explain it to me one time, just like, be like, oh, they're not being jerks.
But he's waiting now to come back in. He will return. Commentary tonight comes from James Dempsey and myself, Jesse May, while representing the Caribbean Tourist Board is Mr. Rob Young.
Where is it? Bahama, the new hotel in Bahamas. Oh. Have a look at the hotel.
Feels like Tomer's getting smashed with the
I
deck
didn't want Leon to come to Punta Cana because the hotel wasn't good enough. This hotel is as good as... You're going to get blown away.
Well, Rob talking here, of course, of the Party Poker Millions Caribbean Poker Party in November. Recently announced the new venue for the event, and I've heard lots of great things about this place. I know they sent the big man, J-Dog, Mr. Duffy over there to scout it out. He's very impressed with the place, and anything that impresses John Duffy is going to impress me.
I mean, he knows his VIP service, let's say that. Probably checked out the thread count on the sheets, size of the pillows, you know.
Unfortunate flop here for Tomer. The one card you don't want to see when you're holding kings.
A huge 10K and a huge 5K.
Luckily, the pot's pretty small.
Don't know how big I dare go on the 25K.
Well, when is that? In November?
10th to the 18th.
November, you're saying?
Yeah. Check.
Wow, that's a very unfortunate card for Tomo. Rob's check back the flop. He's so likely to believe it's the best hand here.
Not only the best hand, but a hand that can get called by worse as well.
For sure, yeah. And it's the kind of hand that calls bluffs. Right then, Rob coming straight out and raising.
I don't see Tomer being done with this. I mean, that check back on the flop was just enough of a wrinkle in your mind?
And also the raise on the turn. The raise on the turn is really clever. Tomer would expect if Rob did say check back an ace that he would just call the turn and let him maybe barrel the river. So by playing the hand so fast after playing it so slow, he's made Tomer believe that he's potentially bluffing, but most likely it also reps club draws. Obviously, it's a good river for Robin that makes the aces full, but it's a terrible river that's going to kill his action.
Right. I mean, among the hands that Tomer would have been thinking he could beat were, as you said, the flush draw and the jack, you know, queen jack, something like that.
All in.
Rob really trying to level Tomer. If this was someone else who'd gone all in.
Well, it is, because I'm not convinced Rob would make that bet with a jack.
No, he's saying he's got an ace or he's bluffing. You know.
I mean, it is, like you said, it is ace or nothing. There's
it's
no,
an
you cannot make
it's an
this
ace
bet.
or nothing.
Right.
The problem is, Tomo can't really call because it's a spot where Tomo himself could have an ace. So like,
a rosewood. It's the sort of place you meet your.
Working on it.
you hear that, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies? Stefan saying he doesn't have a girlfriend, but he's working on it.
Tomorrow is still 1 million.
Get busy.
Get the applications in.
Every day.
No, but this 1,000 by.
I really did. Were you here when I mentioned I thought it was really a winning sort of idea? The combination of televised poker and the Tinder.
Televised poker.
Yeah, I think
good,
it's
but we've got to stop mentioning it on the stream. People
Yeah,
might steal the
millions
idea.
They're very close to hits. 3 more levels.
Coming soon to
With
Party
no
Poker
qualifier,
Live will be the Tinder version.
Put your profile picture into the chat. We will filter it all to Stefan Sondheimer. And also, it's a picture, a biography, and how you would play. You know, a pocket sevens to an open. Oh, jeez.
What did you have? King 7 of hearts.
Wow.
There you go.
And that's the danger of Rob. I mean, the beauty of him in a sense.
Yeah, when you're playing Rob and Leon, you've seen these guys make these crazy bluffs before. So you just get it niggles away in your head, and he's thinking, would Rob raise me on the turn with an ace? And he's stuck on that one thought.
To rebet someone with kings, you can either say they're unlucky, or you can say, well, they don't have the white magic. I know Phil Hellmuth would say that. You do get reads off some people, and she might actually be quite a good reader of players. It looks like she is.
I
The
went to
timing
a
is
dinner,
perfect.
Jesse. I went to a dinner in Vegas last summer where somebody gave a speech about the difference between women players and men. It was a top woman player saying that that
Did
she
they serve food as
that
well?
she thought she thought that
Was she the waitress?
women weren't as aggressive and competitive as men, and that this actually did give men an advantage. But I mean, my view is that if there is a difference, if there's an edge that women have got, it's empathy. It's like there's a big crossover between the ability, the interest in other people, the ability to empathise in them, and reading abilities. And they tend to make very
You
strong.
mean if a woman is a gossip, she's a better poker player?
They're studiers of people. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody.
gossips.
We all are. But if there's a difference, I think they.
Yeah, it's probably a good point.
So,
well, moving swiftly.
Well, and by the way, Jacob peeled off the flop. This was a button raise, and he called from the big blind. He peeled off the flop, and now she's put the second barrel in. He peeled the flop with ace high. He hit his 6. This pot is still kind of up for grabs.
God, it's getting out of hand.
I mean, she's put 2 full barrels in now.
74 million in there.
But isn't the biggest problem is everybody would know that she would not put the third barrel in now without a straight, or would she? I mean, she can't be betting an overpair anymore, ace 10. She can't be betting any of those hands.
Yeah.
Is he going for a raise because he's got the ace of spades in his hand? I've got to admit, I didn't watch the one.
He's leading out on the river here. He's decided that he needs to bluff this to win, which is weird because if you call on the turn, I mean, I don't know.
People are afraid to play hands with her.
Well, it could, it's actually quite a small. It could be a blocking bet.
Yeah.
She gone for the race?
What?
I think she's gone.
She's gone for a call. She thinks that. Wow, she thinks her king might be good. I mean, well, she.
Well, she wasn't far.
Yeah, she wasn't. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, it looks like this.
Now wait a minute, Jeff.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Jeff,
I think the Chiefs fumbled the punt return. How about this? 7-5-5. We'll get to the Chiefs later. Anton flops trips. Christian flops the open ender. Turns 6s and 5s. Anton leads for 5 million. Christian calls and rivers the straight.
And there is just somehow very little money in the middle.
Anton gonna get away from this without losing too much.
He's not considering raising here, right? No. One liner to a straight. Oh, Jeff.
Oh, my.
essentially turning this 5 into a bluff.
Wow, makes it 110 million.
Oh, this is just sick. I don't think we can fold an 8 high straight. This is really tough, but the 8 high straight is just too good to fold, Jeff. I think we have to call it. Certainly looks like it could potentially be a boat. Should be some bluffs mixed in every time we turn maybe a 6 into a bluff. There it is.
Does have a 6 to block some of those. He'll show the winning hand, and with that, Christian Rudolph takes the chip lead.
you